Alright, welcome everyone. Welcome to Drakenmemoria. So, for those who might be wondering what this is, well, it's Dungeons and Dragons. And a group of people playing Dungeons and Dragons. So, if it's not what you like looking at, well, we're not changing our schedule, so you're stuck with this. So, for those of you who might be returning from a previous session, welcome back. For those who might be new, welcome among us. And for those who really don't care that much, they just took the first thing that was on, or maybe they've received a shared link or advice for someone. Hey, look at this one. It's not perfect, but it's still fun. For all of you, welcome among us. It's a pleasure to have you all with us. Don't be afraid to say something in the chat. The more of you there are, the better the conversation will be, and you will be able to point out more every single mistake each one of us might or probably will do at one point or another. That's always fun.
No, we're perfect.
Of course. I didn't say we weren't perfect. I said mistakes, but it's always mistakes according to them, you know. For the world, everything's going smoothly. Alright. As you can see, right now there's only 3 of us, but don't worry, there's a 4th one who has just had to turn his camera off for a minute or 2. As for the 5th member of our group, well, unfortunately, she's not going to continue with us. Explained simply, I talked to her because of how often she was absent from the group, and she was simply having trouble balancing the demands of a weekly stream with her changing life. So unfortunately, she had to make a choice, and she chose being able to pay for rent and eat every few days. So this is why she's not with us, and most likely will not be with us for the rest of the campaign as a main character. But who knows? She might come back as a guest, maybe once or twice. Just like another player that was here before, that is no longer here. Tobiyashi, audience, has made it a goal of finding and rescuing him? Who knows? If the player is available when they find him, he might rejoin us for a few games. So, it'll only be the 4 of us from now on. I think that's about the important announcement for the group. So, last episode. Well, to be quite frankly, not a lot happened during the last episode, as the group mostly took it easy. They continued shopping for what they needed to upgrade, was missing. They also went to the quest board and tried to figure out which quests they would like to do. And as any good Dragonborn would do, when seeing that others decided to take several quests, well, he decided that it was also time for the group to take on several quests and prove to the world, well, at least the other 50 or something adventurers, that it was time to be known, to distinguish themselves, and become real adventurers, heroes, forces of good. And of course, spread the religion of the dragon.
And occasionally fulfilling a shop owner's supply list.
Yeah. Adventuring is a very diverse profession. You get to do a whole lot of things. Some of them you never imagined you would. Some of them you imagined but thought you would never do. And some you thought you would never be forced to. But all of those things happens. It's life. So this
Even
is
Superman rescues a cat from a tree.
yeah, and he doesn't say anything. So the party finally gathered, decided on which quest to take. They all went back to their room, got a little bit of rest to make sure that everything was ready. Fisher most likely took a few moments to let his headache go down slightly. As his new friend is not the most polite. But he did manage to twist his arm, so to speak, in accepting that they had to share this body. Well, a small part of it anyway. So, everyone went back to sleep. They all got their rest. And when morning comes, nothing special happened during the night. You all had a pretty good rest. Fisher, you had a very good neutral moment. No noise. And Vara, you took a bit of time to reflect on everything that had been happening recently. The consequences of long-term interaction with the shorter-lived species. It's not exactly as you imagined it was. It's a bit more chaotic. Remy, you most likely fell asleep looking at your lantern as it was better than before, giving you better options, interesting options. And you also had a little bit of time to attune yourself to this new dagger that you found. And most likely fell asleep with a grin similar to the one that you're having. Although for a bird, it's probably not that easy to see.
It's like the little corners just go up just a little bit. But if it went up any more, that might tear some skin.
The beak would start going up weird. And audience, you wake up in the morning, refreshed, with still a few images of your newfound friend that you saw in your dream the night before. What would you do as you wake up?
I would go see if my medals were ready. Or my holy symbols.
All right. So, as you leave the corridor, your room, and you enter the corridor, you do notice one thing immediately off. Valtteri being in the same corridor as you, you do notice that there is a gnome and a warden accompanying her somewhere else. She seemed to be following them, slumping slightly.
Okay. I would probably walk over and be like, what's going on?
She looks at you just briefly and then looks away again. And you hear one of the warden just say, your friend is having difficulties adapting to the demands of adventuring. We'll take care of her. Don't worry. But I think she needs a bit of moment in a more stable environment. Maybe something that'll help her mood. I believe she has a friend somewhere in the Arboretum. It's probably gonna help her to just be in natural surrounding for a while. I hope you weren't relying on her too heavily. She's most likely not gonna be able to share in your quest for a while.
I will turn to her and say, "Oh, sorry to hear that. I hope you feel better. Best of luck to you."
She looks at you shyly, and she's looking a bit also at the floor, and just from the corner of of one of her eyes, she just thanks and tell everyone that I'm very sorry. I really just never imagined that it was like this in the world, and so much of it always. Um, I'll still be here if you ever need help, but maybe I'll just stay inside the garden, or maybe go back to my island. But for now, I'll just stay here.
Okay.
And she looks down again, and the warden just gently coaxes her deeper down the corridor. So,
Well, that put a damper on my morning mood, but I will still head. I'll look kind of sad, but I'll head on to the. She's been my longest traveling companion, but or one of my longest, the longest still remaining. And then I will head over to the. I'll continue on my initial goal. Just
so you've seen this before. You've spent quite a lot of time on boats to get here, and you've heard that some people go adventuring, and it's not always for everyone. This is why you don't meet a level 20 wizard at every magic shop.
What?
Yeah, shocking, isn't it? Alright. How about Anvara, Remy, and Fisher? What do you do as you wake up?
Raimi, as he wakes up, is going to look through the assorted options for soaps.
Alright, so you head directly to the commercial district and try and find someone that'll make soaps. Alright, it's gonna take you a little while to get there. And, oh, yes. So are you gonna go there and try to ask someone for help or direction? Or are you just gonna wander around in their commercial district and try and see if you can't see something that'll give you a hint that they might actually sell soap?
It's like, he'll probably try to do it himself, mostly because, most, like, there is an obvious barrier in communication.
Yeah.
In most situations.
That's a bit where I was going at with this when I said, if you wanted to ask for direction, I'd say, oh, you can make investigation with disadvantage. If you're just looking by yourself, it's perception, normal.
Oh, wouldn't that be a nightmare? See, that would be a 25.
25. Well, that's actually quite easy. You are either very lucky or your senses allow you to find your way at a shop which smells interesting. You do have the feeling that when you enter the shop, it's probably one of those shops that makes a lot of household things, like most likely small poultice for if you want to help cure rashes or things like this. Small potions, which are very useful for indigestion. You do find a place where there are a variety of soap. It's a gnome that is behind the counter. Small male gnome. He looks very young for a gnome, so most likely he has just begun his adventuring ways. The moment he sees you enter and you start looking around, yes, sir. Can I help you with something?
And with that, he's going to minor illusion I guess they would be in bar form, wouldn't they? Or like with soaps here tend to be more like more liquid sort or more bar sort.
I'd say it really depends on what the base are, but it's most likely going to be solid, as most of the ingredient for soap during those days were ingredient that would solidify, I think, easily.
Right. In which case, he'll minor illusion what might be considered a bar of soap.
Oh, okay. Oh, hold on. Yes. I think I think I have something for you. So it's for cleaning, but just cleaning yourself, your hands, your body. Do you want pleasant smells in it? Or maybe it's and he looks at you for your hair, small duft, feathers.
He kind of like gestures around his general body, but making
Yes.
particular note of the feathers.
Okay. All right. So most likely, probably something like for cat people or dog people. All right. I think I have something that could work. Do you want it with smells or just plain? I also
He
have
immediately nods to the first one.
with smells. All right. Um. Uh. Um. Well, we have a few. We have smells of different flowers. A variety of essence from trees, like pine or spruce. We also have more magical essence, made largely by elves or Sharoons. They cost a little bit more, so I don't know how much money you're willing to put in this. But their fragrance are usually a lot more exotic, and they last longer.
So Rainy will hold up 3 talons.
3. Okay. You want all 3? The third one, or
He
3
nods
of
his
them?
head the minute you say the second thing.
The third one. Magical. You want magical soap?
He nods.
Okay. Hold on. And he starts picking a few of them and give them all to you all at the same time. Just a bunch of soap in his hand, just have a mixed feeling to it. So, some of them are spicy, some of them are flowery. But he's just holding them and dangling them in front of you, sort of like saying, which one would you like to have? So there's a lot of things. There are some flowery smell, tree essence smell, a few animal smells, which aren't that bad. There are a few also food smell. Finished, prepared food smell. Like you can recognize cinnamon bread somewhere in there. And dessert? So like a pastry with rosemary and honey smell mixed to it. There's a lot of smells. So he's just waiting to see which one you pick.
So he's kind of like, after fumbling around with a bit with these different things that have just been shoved into his hands, kind of like it looks them through and actually goes like, what kind of animals is he getting based on that? Actually,
You have
I'm really
all
curious.
kinds of animals. You smell one. One smells a bit like wet dog hair. Another one smells. Oh, so that one, I don't know if skunk exists in this world, but whew, that one smells like skunk, who has just released his smell. Another one has a little bit of fur that you're not sure where it comes from, but there's a nutty smell mixed to it. And, oh, maybe squirrel? There are also a few animals which you feel are very exotic. There's a bit of a plant smell to this one, not flowery. There's a bit of a, but it's sort of smelling a cat who has been fragranced with lilac. Just a few on a cat, and you're smelling that, and you get the smell of the cat and smell of lilac all at the same time. You're not sure if they're mixed or if there's actually a creature in the world that smells exactly like that.
So, actually, you know what? He will probably take basically like one vial of the flowery smell, one vial of a spicy smell, and then one specifically of that cinnamon bread.
All right, so he takes the tree that you're pointing at. All right, this one. All right, and this one here. And this one here. All right. So for all of this, it's going to be it's going to be 15 gold because they're magical. Like I said, you ask for the magical ones. They last a lot longer. So you paid once, and unless you try to roll around in the mud or in blood, because I know that happens, you're an adventurer, you're gonna smell like this for 2 days straight. And they're going to last a long time. You know, this single brick is going to last for a month. Even if you use it every day.
Yeah, so with a pass of his hand, like Raven makes a pile of 15 gold and slides it up.
All right, thank you very much. Do you want them wrapped? Is it a gift, or is it for you, or maybe you want to gift them to yourself? Do you want separate containers, or all in a single one?
So he'll put up a 1 talon.
One. Okay. All right. We'll just. I'll just gently wrap them all in the same box, so the oils don't mix. Although they're magical, they're not gonna lose oil. But still, it's just, so they're all separate. So he gently wraps them in something that looks like silk paper. Very thin. He just wraps them gently, ties them up with a small string. Each one of them, put them in a small bag, and all right, here you go. Just to be sure, he takes a small book. He said, this is just to make sure. It's basically if you're allergic to something, the store isn't responsible. Also, you might have adverse reactions on Earth Elemental, Blue Dragons, and sometime Phoenix will just go nuts for the one with the cinnamon. It's like catnip for them. But that's basically what this book says. But I'm giving it to you just to make sure. And he also hands you this book. It's basically the instruction manual Gnome version.
None of those better matter, otherwise we're screwed.
Just someone in the party just accidentally attracting a blue dragon. It's just like, where did they find us? He slowly hides.
So he hands you this package, and thank you very much, and I hope we'll see you again.
You'll hear in a woman's voice, "Thank you very much, sir."
Oh, that's
and
a
he'll
surprise.
go skipping out of the
Bye.
store.
Just as you leave, you have a high enough passive perception that you see Gnome though. And he goes back. You get the feeling that that was most likely maybe his first day on the job. So, and he goes back behind the counter and just nervously just looks around him. And, oh, okay. All right. So all of this, including the time that it takes you to go there, probably something around an hour and a half. So, Anvara and Fisher. While all of this is going on, what do you do?
I would first off in the morning ask Taranan if he could help me with construct as the language, and then perception as the skill.
All right. Yes. Sorry, you were gone for such a long time. I was starting to wonder if you'd actually just went out. Yes, no problem. It's I'm a bit surprised about the construct. I would have imagined it would be natural for you, but you know, you could have been made defective. Sure, no problem. I can help you with that. And for perception, yeah, no problem. I mean, it's not like it's something very hard, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I can imagine that for you, it could be more of a challenge. So, no problem. I can help you with that.
You know, your voice in my head is just really annoying, so it kind of distracts me from seeing things. So, you know, if you could kind of counteract that by helping me out a little bit, that'd be appreciated.
Yeah, well, I can't give a lot of good reviews on your own voice. You know, you're always talking with the same. But I can sympathize. I know you irritate me. You find my voice distractive. So I guess it's about the same thing. But opposed to you, well, that doesn't affect my ability to perceive things. So again, you might have been built defective.
Who knows? Maybe my voice modulator was damaged.
Like I said, you might have been made defective.
Okay, and then
That actually
I
might
would-
explain why you have your own awareness, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather be me with a defective body than an empty.
I can
But
completely
not me.
understand. It's easier to go on in life knowing that you're a mistake rather than knowing that you should never have been. It's all right. I understand.
Ah, I see. Yeah, you must have had a really long time to come to terms with that. Good to see we're on the same page.
Yeah,
And then I'll
well,
head out my room. And,
This is quite the restaurant because everyone's just getting served.
and then
you slowly realize as you're walking, it doesn't work quite the same way with him as it does with others. Because with others, when you say this and you leave them where they are, puzzled. You realize that
with this one, he keeps with
he's always near you. So you just keep hearing him go on and on and on. So where do you want to go? What do you want to do after that? I'm not gonna keep going at this 24/7. I'm just letting you know.
Incidentally, he does have a Word
off
document.
screen,
All
we're
these
still
jokes ready.
going at it, back and forth a little bit. I would like to head to where the cart was.
All right.
I guess. And along the way, or no, I guess when I get there, I would like to find a warden.
Well, there's
Nearby.
always one
Yeah.
watching the entire hangar, so it's very easy to do.
And then we'll try this out. I would like to approach them and with Terranet's help, in construct, just kind of ask. So if we're about to go out on like a quest, can we get our cart like stocked with supplies, or do we have to go out and collect all those first?
It takes
kind of like playing it off
it takes
completely normal.
I know. It takes a second longer than usual for the warden to answer, and you can hear a slight amusement in his voice. That is very good. It depends on what you need. If you want something more than what is provided by a quest or someone that gave you that quest, you can of course ask for general things. If you need something very specific additionally, you will most likely have to look for it yourself. I believe this morning there was someone putting something in your cart, a small box. I believe it contained the necessary equipment for one of your quests. One to analyze something.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be surprising. Yeah, I was just I guess I was just wondering if there was like a, just basic for the others of my party that need, food, water, if there's like a restocking fee or something.
Well, depending on what you want. Of course, for water, there's no fee for refilling any water container that you might have. For food, however, there would be a slight fee, but we would it would be better than what you would get in a town or city outside. I believe you would call it half price.
Alright, well, good to know.
So
and then I will
basically for rations, if you want to have rations for a length of time, you can buy them here for half price while you're in the garden.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then I will switch to common and go. How many people have you encountered that know that tongue outside of the wardens here at the garden? How many from my
From your world.
world? Yeah.
To be quite honest, and he also goes back to common. To be quite honest, you're the first one to have talked to us in this language. We didn't know you had it here. It is... Even for us, this accent that you had is interesting. Foreign, but familiar.
That's my yeah. Also, recently, am able to speak it through the help of my new friend here, and I'll kind of tap my chest.
Ah.
Basically, by the way I've set up the splint mail
Yep.
is because it's the vertical bands of metal.
They can be both ways,
Basic-
vertical
Yeah,
or horizontal.
They're basically like on the upper chest. They kind of go. They form like an oval, like an eye kind of thing around the
Okay.
docent in the middle, and then go out from there. And then below that, they're horizontal going down.
Okay.
It's kind of like a, yeah. So you can actually bend over without, because that'd be, I've done that before and it hurts.
Well, a lot of splint mail is the way that it's usually made. The strips on your belly are going to be horizontal, and
Yeah.
the strips on the chest will be vertical. So it's easy to have it made the way you want, and basically whatever way fits better for you, since actually you're just meditating and incorporating it into your own frame. They can have whatever shape fits your frame.
But yeah, basically it's just he is very obvious now, as opposed to when I had the chainmail on where he was kind of hidden. So yeah, I'll tap him, and yeah, that's he's from my world, I think, and somehow he knows it. So it'll be
That is fascinating. Only a handful of adventurers have managed to awaken their object. We are looking forward to learning everything you can tell us about these objects. What they do, how they do it, if they have personalities.
Oh yeah.
Very well. All right.
Yep, that's there. But yeah, I would be. I'm sure once we get back from this little chain of quests we're doing, I'll spend a good amount of time in your upstairs at the library, sitting down with some people.
That will be very interesting, and we are looking forward to it, I am sure.
Right. And then how approximately how many days trip is it to? Oh no, I don't think I wrote it down.
It would be 1, 2, 3. So if you go town hopping, it's going to be 7 days. But if you take the merchant road, you could cut it to 4 days by just always riding without stopping anywhere. If you go town hopping, you're also going to go a bit more toward the forest because there's more town in a short distance. However, if you go from where you are, when you finish the quest at the lake, there is a small village on the western side of the lake, which the quest does reference to as the origin of the rumors. However, most of the sightings have been on the bridge that you took. So, if you decide to go there, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It would be 6 days if you go town hopping.
Okay. In that case, I will ask him for 20 rations for the cart.
Very well. This can easily be arranged. You can always pay at the commercial district, or you can simply leave it here and it will be arranged for you. And he pointed toward a small compartment just next to him. And now you can actually read it. There is a small inscription on it, which does translate from the construct language to food request.
What does construct look like in its written form?
It is a very I'd say rough and square alphabet. A lot of lines, long lines, small lines, and dots. So there's maybe a bit of Japanese feel to it, but not the complex words, just the small words. But everything seems to be turned 90 degrees to the right. So get the feeling that yeah, exactly. So. But it's very, like I said, it's very rough, a bit square in its form. The lines do cross from time to time, but they usually don't cross the point of going to the other side. So it might be a line, another line at the end, and then one communicating the two in between. Or one, or same symbol, but two lines, one beside the other like this, the other one fix, and a dot. They almost never go past a point. It's very geometric.
Okay. Well then, yeah, I'll just put the food request in there.
And the way that it sounds, like I said, it does feel like
it's like metal scraping, right?
Yeah. Do you remember what the sound of the blast door in Star Wars Empire Strike Back, the base at the on the planet Hut, the way that when the blast door closes, when they are almost there and the metal scrapes just a little bit, it sort of has a sound that feels a bit like that.
Okay. Then yeah, I'll put in the food request there, and then I want to go check out what's in that box that was placed in our cart.
All right. Well, you go to the cart and you see one small box that has been added to everything you have. There actually is a medium-sized box, maybe half the size of a chest. There's a very small box that has been placed just beside it, and there seem to have been modification made to the main mast of your large tent. You look at the modification on the main mast of your large tent, and you get the feeling that probably a few gnomes have fun with it. It seems to be retractable.
Oh, dope.
On the medium-sized box inside of it, you see instruction on how to place a series of 5 crystals. And the writing is in common, but the way that it explains, it reminds you a little bit of how... hold on. I also always just remember the last part of his name, never the first one. Caharthane. It reminds you a bit of how Caharthane speaks. The way that he builds his phrases. So it's an explanation on how to arrange them, how to activate them, and how long it takes for them to complete their analyzing cycle. The last box is a small box. When you open it, there is a small note inside of it. Do you read it?
Yes, or at least attempt to.
It's... well, actually... this is the screen that's missing. I don't have the information for every player. I knew I was missing a screen somewhere. Hold on. I believe... it is written in... it is written in Gnomish.
Yeah, nope.
So you recognize the style of writing, but you cannot read what it says.
Alright. Well then, yeah, I guess I'll put it back.
As you,
Yes, if you close this box, the weapon explodes.
as you put it back, there is smoke and the message is just burned. Oh no! As you close this box, you hear an alarm going dong, dong.
Similar to the one we heard yesterday.
Yeah.
No.
There's a gnome who probably blew himself up, but not seriously.
Nice. Then...
As you hear this, somewhere else, inside the garden, there's Remy, who is very satisfied with his purchase, and he looks in front of him, and he hears... and he sees a gnome running in flame. And he just keeps on going.
Yeah, that's kind of
All right.
it. Actually, you know what? I would like to go to... Nah, no, I'll just wait at the cart. We were going to leave sometime in the morning-ish.
Sometime during today, the group is going to
would take a
reconvene
while.
at the cart.
Yeah.
With our group, it could be 3 days from now.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, no, I'm learning my lesson from yesterday. I'm gonna go back to the Smith or the commercial district,
All right.
and I'm going to try and find a weapon shop and get just the ball and the chain of a flail.
Okay. I see what you're trying to do. This would Well,
Why are you trying to purchase my ex-wife?
it's gonna be in the name of the object, the ex-wife. I feel like I'm gonna get sued for intellectual properties if we do this, though. I do not have the necessary means to go up against the MCU universe with all of their lawyers and.
They incidentally also have superpowers.
Yeah.
You may not have known this.
Yeah, man, that's Disney. You don't want to fuck with that.
Their superpower includes making sure I can never purchase anything else for the rest of my life. Well, alright. You can probably buy all these components for, we're gonna go with 5 golds.
Okay. And then how much was the rations?
Rations. You asked for 20 days of rations, that it?
Yeah.
Wrong side. Oh, come on. I was just looking at the object. I know. Alright, rations. Rations for 1 day is 5 silver. So 10 days would be 5 gold, 20 days would be 10 gold. So
At half cost?
at half cost would be 10 gold.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright. Anything?
And then after that, I'd go back to the cart.
Alright. Anvara. What do you do? I think you're muted.
Your mic's... Yeah, you're muted.
There we
Oh
go.
no, their voice has
There it
been
is.
mutilated.
Alright.
No.
Right. Had we agreed on a time to meet back up yet? No. Okay.
Not a specific time other than we're leaving tomorrow. So
That's not a handy time frame for a group without a phone. Well, I guess we have the orbs. Never mind. I didn't say shit. We literally have a Sierra. No copyright. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and blow some cash today because I don't want to end up in a tight spot at a bad time. I'm gonna go ahead and find an alchemist.
okay. That's quite easy to do.
I hope so.
Especially since you've already spent half a day memorizing every store owner of the place. Yeah, you can easily find one.
All right. Just gotta follow the screaming gnome sounds.
Okay, it's that way.
West.
Oh yeah, that's right for you because.
All right. So I'm gonna look for a potion salesman.
That's easy enough to do.
Sure.
What sort of potion are you looking for exactly?
Oh well, a couple healing potions just to tide us over while in combat. We want to hit any sticky situations now, would we?
Potions.
No, for the sticky situations, you get the love potion.
Nope.
Love potion number 9. Oh,
Veto.
I don't know if
Yeah, I
anyone got
salt
that
for
reference.
Stuck in my hair. You got something for that?
I don't know if anyone got the reference of Love Potion number 9. It's a very old movie.
Nope.
You don't want that one. Alright, so Potion of Healing. Yeah, that's quite easy to find. Find probably the most basic of shop. I actually believe that this one is already known by the party. Where did all my names go? Yeah. You actually find yourself in the shop of. Well, actually, I don't think you've met him. You're greeted by a human, a bit short for a human, but still a human. Behind the counter. Can I help you?
Yes, hello. I'd be in the market for some healing potions.
Oh, that's quite easy to do. How many and when do you want them?
Hang on, we're 4 now.
Well, you don't know.
Yeah, true. 5 and yeah, I'll go for 5. 6. Yeah, go ahead, 6. Can I even afford 6? No, I can't.
It's 50.
That's-
It's 50 gold for a potion of a basic potion of healing, the lowest level.
They'd be expensive.
Potion
Yeah.
of healings have always been expensive. I always felt that it was a bit strange.
Yeah, I could get.
But-
I'll get 5. If you have them now, I'll take them. If not, I'll come back when they're ready.
Well, actually, 5 I do. But if I'm sort of happy you didn't insist on 6, because right now for this morning, this is what I have in store. We've actually had a few adventurers who were here extremely early, who took quite a few potions. But 5, that's easy enough to do. Here we go.
Sure.
Place them all.
So-
Said something about a TPK. I don't know the new fangled lingual these days.
They were afraid of something.
Alright, that put a lovely dent in my wallet. And thank you, good sir, for these potions. And I'll be on my way.
You're quite welcome. Come back anytime.
Okay. Oh, fuck. I added them individually by accident. That sucks.
Well, at least you
Jessel.
have them all.
Yeah. Alright. Next. Yeah, I guess I'd have to check up on Valtteri, since I haven't seen her yesterday and she was in a fucking coma and I don't know what happened to her. So if I can find my way back to her, I guess I'll try and check in and see if she's okay.
Well, by the time that you'd come back from those purchases, you'd knock on her door and there would be no answer.
I'd knock again.
There's still no answer.
I guess she's still sleeping, though I'm kind of worried. Is there a warden nearby?
Not nearby, but you can find one within a few minutes. Maybe 5 or 6 minutes, you can find one.
Okay. Does the room have a number? Or do I just say, hey, you know the room with the tiefling in it?
No, I guess there would be identifications on the doors. However, they're not in a language that you can easily recognize. You do recognize that they're all different.
Okay.
They're sort of a symbol. You've seen this sometime on the inns of adventurer humans. Sometimes they do this because it's a bit exotic, so they separate every room with different symbols. You've seen people draw a phoenix symbol on one room and then a golem on someone else. You sort of figured, it's probably something like that, but I really have no clue what that's called.
Is this shape like something I could describe accurately? Or is it like some Lovecraftian shit that makes me insane when I think about it?
No, that's quite easy. Yeah, you can
Alright, cool.
very easily describe them.
Alright, I'll seek out a warden and ask about the room. If the occupant had been seen lately.
Yes, actually, I have heard something about The occupant of this room. We have been given a notice that she is having problem coping with the adventuring life. I believe she is taking an extended stroll in the Arboretum right now.
Okay. Thank you. And I'll make my way to the Arboretum, I guess. I'm gonna make you roleplay Valkyrie a bit, don't worry about it.
That's alright. I was just gonna say, you make a few steps, then you also realize that the Arboretum is really big.
Oh.
It's
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
it's an oval-shaped Central Park.
Ah, fuck. Okay, well, if I don't see her in the first 10 minutes, I'm leaving. I'll find her again someday. Maybe.
Roll for perception. Roll high. Roll high.
17.
17. You look around for 10 minutes and you don't see her anywhere.
Alright.
You cross a few gnomes and a warden or two, but her?
Alright. That's that then. I'll leave and not much else to do, I guess. So, actually, I guess
It's sort of like saying, I'm gonna go look for someone in Mont Royal without help.
That's fair. Alright. I'll give up on my search and I don't know, check out the quest board a bit, see what's going on with that. See if anything cool popped up. Just out of curiosity.
Well, in that case, you went to get the potions. Remy went to get his soap. Fisher went for some shopping. Good lord. 5, 5, and 6. All right. Well, unfortunately, you don't meet anyone on your way back.
All right.
I've been getting these medals for like 3 years.
Well, I rolled 3 times, so everyone's there. But Anvara rolled. I rolled so low that there's a very well. I would allow you to roll for perception. No, because you've already left and then you came back. So I'd say audience, Remy, and Fisher, you can all roll for perception as you're basically all in the same place, roughly at the same time. Even Fisher, because you actually went to go buy material.
I rolled a 15.
Remy?
Remy rolls a 13.
13, all right.
14, but a 16 with Taranand.
All right. I'd say you actually cross audience, but actually you're walking and you're looking right in front of you and you see someone enter a shop and that looks like audience, but in your mind you go and there are the Dragonborn, it might be someone else. And then you hear a voice inside you. Are you blind? That is your friend. Wasn't it easy to notice?
You like that sometimes.
Thanks.
Fisher's married now.
Doing good work.
Jesus.
I'll go.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'll go join him.
So, audience, you get inside this store and you arrive, and you notice that. Where you went to? It was a store. So you get into the store where you ask for this, and you notice that the dwarf is slightly busy. But the moment he sees you arrive, oh yeah, the symbols.
Yes.
Shimmering copper symbols. Oh, that's always going to be interesting. All right. They're done. Takes all of them. Here we go. 3 symbols. Slightly shimmery, and he does basically the same thing that Remy's been doing ever since he saw this. When you run your fingers across it, there's a few shimmering moments, maybe 1 second after, so you see a bit of the shimmer go off and then disappear. So it's interesting special effects. They have the same color as copper, so it's noticeable. Of course, being a dragonborn, you look at this and, well, could have been more shiny, but all the time,
Good
not
enough.
just when you touch it, But they're done. They're good quality. You easily recognize the symbol, your symbol on it. It's good quality. You wouldn't ask him to make a fresque on the side of a church, but it's easy to recognize that this is your symbol.
All right.
It was quite an interesting challenge. And here, there's a little bit left, and he hands you just a thin plate of metal, maybe 2-inch wide and 3-inch long, maybe a 1/12 of an inch thick. Well, that's what was left.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. It was interesting getting to work with exotic material. Very similar to other material that I've seen from other worlds. Though recently there haven't been a lot of this everywhere. I don't know why. Real dragons have seemed to just lost interest in the mortal world.
Working on changing that.
Oh, that'll always be a nice change, but if you find one, be ready. They're a lot bigger than anything you've seen so far.
I'll just give a nod. Like, he doesn't know what I've seen. I'm not going to engage.
He doesn't know. And then you have the dwarf going on his own way, also saying in his mind, he doesn't know. Just as you are exiting the shop, you find yourself in front of Fisher.
Oh. Hey, Fisher.
Hey, I realized we never decided on the time to leave. So instead of just waiting somewhere like an idiot, I figured I'd, get some stuff done, and bumped into you.
Fair. Give me an hour, and I should be ready to leave. Also, Valtteri will not be joining us, as she is apparently struggling with the adventuring life and is taking a break. But yeah, I can go in like an hour.
Okay.
Fisher, you hear inside of you, oh, basically we have a depressive one in the group.
That's rude.
It's only rude if she hears me.
I don't think that's how that works, but okay. And then realizing that I was still talking out loud. Sorry.
So, audience,
the new guy.
you heard Fisher's side of the conversation.
Still getting used to the new guy.
That's I see. Maybe don't do that in public. I think it's
Fair
one
enough.
thing for people to take a construct with red eyes holding an axe, and another when it also starts talking to itself.
Fair enough. I don't know. Maybe I'll break it out if we need to scare somebody. Okay. Yeah, so I guess meet us at the inn when you're done.
Okay.
And, if you see anybody else, let's say in an hour
All right,
or hour and a half, give
I'll-
give other people a little bit of a buffer.
If we have to, you can always use the orb too. Don't forget we have a communication device.
Yeah, I don't really want to burden Syrah with our lack of communication problems. Seems like she probably has more important things to do.
Probably.
You
So
hear,
I'll
you
head
hear
off to
from
the inn.
inside. Fisher, you hear from inside, most likely.
Uh-huh. I'm just gonna ignore him this time and see how it works.
Yeah, I'd say make an intelligence roll, just you.
Haha. 22.
22. All right. From everything you've noticed this morning, from the way that whenever you've made a comment, he just came back with something else, and because you can't leave him there, he just keeps on going. And from that moment right now, he likes getting the last word. Since you didn't say anything, you don't hear a peep out of him.
Yeah, that's not surprising. Yeah. That's, we'll take note.
Just dawns in your mind. Huh. Okay.
He's one of those people. Hey, yeah, I'll head back to the inn.
All right.
Do I see Anvara there too? She's right outside, or
With yeah, she just made her shopping.
I could just yell at her. Meet at the cart in an hour.
Well, I'd say because of all the rolls that have been made. Well, actually, no, because right after her purchase, she went back to Valtteri's room, so you didn't cross her.
Should just talk to me. Oh well, could have saved some time.
The quest line of looking for me lost his shit in the arboretum.
All right.
Remy, where would you go after your purchase?
So, well, mostly just because of all of the patterned behavior of everybody else. Like, he would have assumed that everybody was going to meet at the inn.
All
So he
right.
went to the inn.
So he
That's a
went to
fair
the inn.
assumption.
Oh, wow.
Kenku are creatures of habit, don't you know?
And as it would happen, you encountered a natural 20. So as you are walking through the arboretum, You do cross path with Valtteri, who is sitting in the middle of the forest on a huge rock, and you see there's a gnome sitting beside her, and she's just talking very shyly to the gnome, and you hear the gnome. Yeah, I understand. It's for the same thing for me when I left home. It was hard.
Maybe is going to stop, look, and is going to skip over.
Valtteri does react to you. Just, hey.
Raimi does a rainbow.
She gives a slight smile. And you hear the gnome go, oh, yeah, I think we all need those right now. Are you a friend of hers?
Raimi nods.
Oh. Yeah, she's having homesickness issues, severe one. And you hear Valtteri just say everything else also. And the gnome says, yeah, she's... Adventuring life is not for everyone. Some find it harder than others.
If a Kenku could frown.
Valtteri just looks at you, then looks at the ground again, and says, I won't be coming with you. I really didn't expect the world to be like this all the time. I'm really sorry, but I'll stay here. But if you ever need someone, you can always come and see me. But at least for now, I'll stay here. It's better in nature, even if it's not natural nature.
So Raimi will put one of his hands on her shoulder, and in his more sage voice, he'll say, there are many roads in life, but the one that is best suited for you is the one that you choose.
You hear the gnome say, yeah. Valtteri just doesn't say anything. She gives a small tap on the hand that you put on her shoulder, and thank you, and take care of yourself. I'm really sorry.
So he'll hear in a woman's voice, until we meet again, okay? And he'll make another rainbow.
The gnome looks at you and, don't worry, I'll take care of her. Although it is somewhat reassuring to know that someone is taking care of your friend, you can't help but have a little doubt creep in your mind with this person being a gnome.
That's racist.
No, that's realist.
So
Have
Raimi
you
is
read
going
what they
to-
say about the gnomes?
Raimi is going to minor illusion in fact, the still image of the very gnome that crossed his path not even 10-15 minutes ago.
Yeah, I know him. He's nice.
If a Kenku could anime sweat drop.
All right.
But Raimi will give Valtteri one more hug and make his way back back in the direction of the inn.
Back to the inn where no one is waiting for him.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll be there eventually in an hour.
So Remy just
Although I,
plops down.
although I do know what Remy will do in that hour. It's just kind of like,
So Remy plops down in the inn, sit down on the table. Is there anything you want to order while you're waiting, or you just content with water and looking at people? Listening.
I mean, you can order himself a bowl of spicy jello.
All right.
Or excuse me, jelly.
Yeah.
For you non-Americans out there.
It's this weird gelatin. It's weird. It's a weird that gives you a weird feeling. It's gelatin. All right. So you are brought a bowl of wobbly stuff, spiced to perfection, and you eat the spicy jello while you're waiting for your friends to come in. And listening to conversation, you know, it's always good to get a few new phrases in your vocabulary. And gnomes do like to talk, so you might actually end up with a lot of stuff that you might never need, but no, now.
It's like, and that's when you put the rooster into the toilet right before you put in the ammonium sulfate.
And remember, if it's a full moon, just one moon full, the chicken might actually burst. To be fair, it is something you might hear in the middle of a gnomish workshop. Alright, so Fisher is waiting at the cart. Anvara, you're going back where?
I said I was going to go back to the inn after I talked to audience.
Okay, so you would eventually meet Remy, listening to Gnome talk. Anvara, where would you go?
I'm gonna roll for a moment of lucidity and realize that we're supposed to meet up today.
Sometime during the day.
Let's see if now's the time. Yeah, now's the time.
All right.
I'll go for the cart, I guess.
You go for the cart. So
Yeah, just fucking 180 back towards where I was coming from to go to the cart.
Nice.
does Anvara know
We're so
Gnomish?
good, guys.
Do I know Gnomish? I absolutely don't. I know Goblin. Close
Okay.
enough, right?
Yeah, sure. You know, you look at it and it's almost the same for this one
I mean-
letter.
I mean, they're both small. It's the same thing, right?
Yeah, and
Halfling.
you're sure this character is the same. You don't know what it means in Gnomish, but you're sure it's the same.
Yeah.
So you find yourself at the cart and you notice that the large tent that you bought has been slightly modified, mostly by gnomes, because it feels like the central mast of this tent is retractable now.
Oh, cool.
You do notice the box with all the gems and the instruction on how to use them to analyze special occurrence anomalies. You're not sure how to translate that word in Elvish. And you notice that small box right next to it that has a letter inside. It's really a small note written in Gnomish.
Well,
And then there's a
I will-
horse tied to that cart.
all right, great. Well, assuming I won't assume that the horse can speak Gnomish, I'll just leave the note where it is and
You show the note to the horse. The horse look at you.
turns out he can, but only Valtteri can make him speak, so
Let's
Yeah.
speak with animals. I think priests have access to speak with animals.
do I? I think I have animal friendship. I don't think I have speak with animals.
Prepared, no, but I think in the spell list, but I'm not sure.
I'll check.
This means audience. You requested an
Yes.
additional hour. What are you planning to do during this hour?
I am planning to go try and recruit a high priestess to my cause.
I sort of expected that.
Clerics.
All right. So, where would the audience believe that Temptress would be right now?
He would ask. He would go around and ask people
Then make an invest.
And-
Yes.
and tell them if they then saw her to tell her that audience was looking for her.
All right. Well, then definitely make an investigation with advantage.
Okay. Okay. All right. That is a 10.
10. Well,
Solid 10.
Yeah. Every time someone tells you that they've seen her somewhere, you get there and she's not there anymore. But you can meet someone there who says that she is. She's been there. You just missed her. She said she was gonna go, and then you go there. But since the DC had been placed at a 13, you're always just a few minutes behind her.
Can I start jogging? Since I keep being. I'm like, if I keep missing her by a couple minutes, if I start jogging, that math works out, right?
Sound reasoning.
So you keep running around to try and get to her, then eventually you figure out that you've been running in circle because she got the message and she went back to where you said you'd be. You were looking for her, but by the time that you got there, she'd already left for somewhere else. Eventually, fortunately and unfortunately, after the hour that you've said you wanted, that's when you see her. She's on the other side of this little field at the edge of the arboretum, at the region where they grow crop.
Oh, good. I can make my party mad at me again for being late. This is.
I gave you an hour and a half. For
Oh,
this
did you?
exact reason.
So
That was my.
You not remember? You took.
Hey, I can work my magic in half an hour. I'm a quick worker. I only know speed.
you only know running and hitting walls. That's how you turn.
Alright, I guess I would jog towards her.
All right, so as you are jogging toward her, still making a bit of noise because you're still wearing a chainmail and you still have a decent amount of coin in your pouch.
Also, a lot of rations. I didn't realize I had like 30 pounds of rations.
So people can smell you from a distance.
I think they're dried. I don't think it's like that.
Have you ever entered into a shop filled with dried fruits? It still smells a bit.
Smells good though. I mean, I enjoy that smell. I don't know, like dried apricots.
Oh, I didn't say that it was a bad smell. I just say that people can smell you enter.
It's a natural aroma.
It's the natural aromas of dried fruit when you enter a
I-
room.
I invented perfume without inventing
So-
perfume.
It's a good thing you have it because you've been running around for the past 20 minutes.
Yeah, oh, well, actually, Dragonborn don't sweat. They manage their body heat by opening their mouth slightly.
I'm panting like a dog, but I'm not sweating.
No, it's how it's described in the player's handbook. The Dragonborns have no sweat gland. They manage the heat in their body by opening their mouth, and they can actually exhale an impressive amount of heat by doing that. So this is how they keep cool. They run and eventually they start opening their mouth. And you see the ripples of heat coming out of their mouth.
That's cool.
So you get to Temptress and you're just... and you see the ripples of heat coming out of your
I'm
mouth.
probably okay. I'm in shape. I'm in
Okay.
good shape, man. I could do some cardio. I've like a +6 to athletics. I think I'm okay.
Just for fun, make a roll. We're gonna see how
athletics?
fresh you are when you meet her.
An athletics roll?
Yeah.
Okay. I got another 10. I'm working the 10s really well today. Actually, that's not true. I'm working to 4 really well there since I have +6, but it ends up as a 10.
All right, so you.
They ought to do more cardio.
Yeah.
You know what? A 10's all right. I'm a little out of breath, but
Well, he's been running around to catch her for the past hour.
Yeah.
You know. Now he's
Okay.
reaching
Ow.
beginning of the second hour, and
I'm starting to feel it.
yeah.
I did warm up beforehand. I didn't do my stretches.
Those are important.
Yeah. So as you approach Temptress, you see her, and my, you look a little bit out of breath. It suits you.
Yeah, I've gave me a good cardio workout. Needed it. Got to keep in shape.
Well, then I am happy to have helped you.
Yes. I think the last time we met, you were saying that if I ever found anything interesting or wanted to talk more about the dragons, you would be willing to talk. So I actually did find a few interesting things, and we will be leaving later today, but I wanted to find you before then.
That's fascinating. Please do tell.
All right, so I will tell her. I'll actually tell her quite a bit. I will tell her about finding the Dragonite. I will tell her about some of the messages I read that I didn't tell the rest of the party about like the dragon's story and all that. I will even mention a brief bit about my dream and my connection potentially with this spirit of a dragon.
All right. Well, she locks arm with you as you are walking, and she listens to everything you're saying. She listens to it with interest to every word you say, even sometimes repeating. Really? That is fascinating. You have such an interesting life. And such a strong connection to the dragons. It's impressive. It's very impressive.
Would you like this cookie?
No, this is all audience wants. It's just to be listened to, guys. If you just gave him a little more,
You have to remember that at age, he is a 15-year-old. He just wants people to listen to him.
just want to be understood. No.
So listen to Linkin Park and cry some more.
And now, a woman, you're 16 years old, and you have this 22 years old, most likely shaped like a world-famous cheerleader / model, listening to you, saying how fascinating you are, and feeling very, very honest when she says that. You can try to see if she's deceiving you, but
I believe her. I'm an interesting person.
off.
With your passive perception, you absolutely are completely enthralled with how attentive she is to every single word you're saying. She even asks a few questions like, what did that dragon in your dream feel like? And have you heard about other dragons like the one that you've read about? And you talk about the dragons in one of your dreams. Do you talk about the other dream that you have, the one with the moon
about
and the sun? Do you also?
There wasn't specifically a dragon in that one, I don't think, so I don't
No.
think I would mention it.
All right. So that's interesting. Do you have any idea why this small dragon might want gems?
I believe that it has, from what I can tell, the personality of just, a fairly, normal dragon. And I think that my guess would be it's just that it wants gems because dragons would like gems, and perhaps it would gain some, bonus or advantage from that, but it also might just be a personal preference of it.
Well, maybe you should consider this. And as she says that, she starts slowly stroking the arm that you have locked around hers. And, well, some dragon actually enjoy eating gems. Maybe try and find a variety.
That's an interesting thought. I will think about that. All right.
She smiles very gently when you say that.
All right. Now to make my play. All right, I'm gonna. Okay. Gotta get ready for this.
You see it, you hear him go. Crack his neck.
Warm up the dice in real life.
Like,
Persuasion roll. No.
His voice suddenly go down.
Yeah, my voice goes down. Turn on the seductive. Well, no. I will turn to her and I'll say, you out of almost anyone else I have met seem to have so much wisdom and so much interest regarding the dragons. Now, I know you may have your own tasks, and I do not know if you believe in the same things that I do. However, that is not always necessary for success. I've came to realize that perhaps in certain matters, I can struggle to gain followers, and yet I am also only one man, and I can only talk to and travel so much distance. And I realize that perhaps I need a few others to help bring people to my cause. So I'll turn to her and I'll pull out one of the amulets I had made, and I'll be like, I would be willing to... I do not need your belief yet, but if you would be willing to help, as I'll kind of look at her, with the energy and, should I say, beautiful figure that you possess, I believe that it would not be hard for you to perhaps gain a few followers to my cause in your travels, as you are an adventurer. And I would be willing to do something in return if you would take this on.
And what exactly are you so generously offering in return?
A favor for a favor. If you would do this, I'd be willing to perform pretty much any favor you would ask of me in the future.
Make your persuasion roll.
Come on, baby. Give this to me. I know this might screw me later. I don't care. Just give it to me. Guess what it is?
10.
It is a 10.
Fuck, dude.
I only rolled heads today. Heads.
It was such a good speech, though. Damn.
Well, probably because he was so nervous, he probably said it exactly like Sam
Like
said
Sam
it.
said.
There was a bit of nervousness. It sort of had, from time to time, a feeling of a teenager asking a grown woman if she would like to date him in a few years.
Asking you to teach her to prom.
Oh, that was a separate conversation.
That's the next roll.
By the way, were you interested in going to prom? Because I already have a suit, and I could get you a corsage, and
While we're already on the subject of you saying yes to things, could I threaten?
This is harem I'm building, and
I really am just trying to go off this name Temptress and trying to work that in.
Well, apparently she is working you.
Maybe we're working each other. I don't know.
That is
she-
such an interesting offer. I would first like to know a little bit more about this deity you'd like me to extend its favor to the other world, to the rest of the world.
All right.
What is his
Uh,
name?
I'm glad you asked. And I will pull out a. I forgot to mention this before the end of last session because we were trying to wrap up. But because I knew I was going to be meeting with her today, I actually went and I wrote down some actual things in a book. I wrote out a booklet with both about the dragons as gods themselves, a little bit about my master, and also some of the speeches and basically messages we were trying to spread. Because I realized that if I was going to get other people to do this, I should probably have some kind of booklet to hand them. Or some kind of
have a
doctrine
pencil.
To know what you're talking about.
to know what I'm talking about. So I will hand it to her, and I will also tell her the best I can about being raised and about the master. I won't lie about anything. I'll tell her that he was basically an ancient green dragon, and he was the one who told me this stuff, and and I'll tell her, and I'll basically explain to her like what was told to me.
She doesn't flinch. Even when you mention a green dragon, she just... Fascinating. This is such a riveting story. I could probably find a way to help others see the light. I hope you won't mind if I make my own few researches.
Not at all. Of course not.
Such a deity as he would most likely have accomplished a myriad of interesting things throughout history.
I'm sure. He told me many great stories of some of his conquests, all for the glory of humanity, of course, and other species.
Of course, of course. I will give it all of my attention. I will do my research, and when next we meet, and she just slide two of her finger under your chin when she says that, I might actually have an answer for you. And she
Thank
gives
you.
you a small peck on the cheek.
I blush.
Suddenly there's a lot of
You
heat
can
coming
say it.
out of his mouth.
Audience would blush. All right, I'll say thank you. That is all I could have hoped or asked for. And I'll say have a good day.
You're
I-
very welcome, and so are you. Goodbye. See you soon.
And then I will head back to the inn where I was told to meet. Probably a little bit late, but
Well, by the time that you actually meet her and have this conversation and then go to your friends, you're probably 45 minutes late. All right. So we're
it's okay, guys. I just sold my soul to the devil. Don't worry about it.
A devil.
he was trying to temptress. That always ends well. All right, so we have a small break, 10 minutes. We'll be back in 10 minutes as audience arrives in the inn and looks around to find his friend still slightly floating from everything that's just happened. And looking for his friend. Thinking about other things. And this is where we take the break. All right, so see you all back in 10 minutes. Bye.
Bye.
Aha. And we are all back. All in good shape. And audience most likely seems to be floating in a little cloud. Bit giddy, still blushing, with his mouth slightly open and ripples of heat coming out of it. He seems to have a satisfied look on his face as Fisher and Remy are there in the inn. Fisher would be the first person that you see entering.
Yeah, just doing the classic, hand over head wave.
Mm-hmm. I'll walk over.
With a spoonful of jelly in his mouth.
Walk over, sit down. How long after I talked to audience would this be?
Well, the time that you take to get there, that would be maybe an hour and a quarter, maybe? Which is the time that it takes to go through the center of the Arboretum and there. So, yeah. You'd guess that if everything went well with audience, he is on his way back right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably hear a comment coming from within you saying, and you actually believe that.
Can always hope. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna start just kind of doing some very early work with my pin
Okay.
and the chain.
All right, so Remy, you see Fisher arrive, sit down in front of you, take a chain, a spike ball, a large wooden pin, and he starts taking out a few tools and starts working on it. Get the feeling that he's trying to build something out of those three components. But right now, it's a bit... you probably have a slight idea of what you can do with these three components, but it's just too early. It really looks like he's just started.
Yeah.
Could be something completely different. He's
It's gonna be a morning star with a chain on it that you can whip people with.
You're lacking a lot of imagination. Gnomes could think of things much better than this. And probably from everything you've heard the gnome talks, when you look at this, first thing that comes to your mind, because you are intelligent, That looks like the component of a weapon. But then you remember this gnome talking a few minutes ago saying, well, there's a lot of things that you can do with sticky stuff, a chain, and a crystal marble.
I'm making a bomb.
And the other one just says, and do you really think it can explode? Just as they say that, you see him get all the things on the table, and you have that in your mind. Looks like a weapon. Looks like component for a flail or morning star, or... Then you look at Gnomes. But you know.
Raimi is just staring at Fisher with this concerned look on his face. New ideas flooding into his head.
Oh,
Or
I'm
more
kinda
accurately,
focused right now.
new ideas having been forced into his head.
You've been hearing for the last hour invention ideas, things that your mind is racing. Some of them good, some of them awful, but some of them your mind is racing to figure out, why would you want to build this? A machine to shovel smoke?
To actually put love into a beaker?
So, as you are working on this, and Remy looks at you suspiciously, and eventually you hear, again, this alarm, but this one is just dong. And you hear one of Gnome. Oh, they're building the machine. They must have spilled something. And you see one just run off, leaving the other one here. And I guess I'll wait.
That's not ominous in any way.
So after maybe an hour more, 45 minutes late, you see audience arriving. Meanwhile, Anvara, you have been waiting next to the car for the past 2 hours. But you're an elf, you know, you're patient.
Yeah. Although, I am starting to think like, well, if they're not here, the other place where they gather up to socialize would be the tavern, and if they were to come my way, we'd cross each other, so not much chance of me ending up at the other end of the fucking world again. So I guess I'll start making it slowly
Alright.
towards the tavern.
So audience, you arrive in the inn, floating on a cloud, looking at Raimi, looking at Fisher with a suspicious look, and Fisher working on a spiked ball, a length of chain, and a piece of wood.
I would first walk up to Remy and hand him one of the medallions I got.
You have a symbol of the dragon god that shines when you touch it. Made out of the copper ore that you made. So when you touch it and you just run your finger across it, it just shines a little bit where your finger went over it. And it is a gift from audience.
You actually hear the sounds of an angelic choir. You can't really place when Randy would have heard this, but
Remy played Halo 2 confirmed.
And then Ravi just kind of like jumps from his chair and gives you a big hug around the waist.
Aw. I'll give him a hug back, and then I'll turn to Fisher and be like, "Yep, sorry I'm late. Was working on something."
Kind of figured. You're not the last one here. Has anybody seen Anvar today?
I have not. I actually have a thing to give her too, but I have not seen her.
I don't think she's going to react as well if you try and give her the same thing you gave him.
It was not that.
Just
Maybe
making
just
sure.
repeat. Maybe just repeats an audience's voice. For the dragon. For the dragon.
Raimi, you seen her today?
Shakes his head.
Okay.
So do you all wait there for a while? Do you want to do something, or do you want...
We'll give her another 30 minutes at least.
Alright, so... Alright, well, just as you are about to feel that maybe we should send her a message just to make sure... Oh no, there she is. She's just entering the inn. 5 minutes more or less, she is on time. You see them all around the table.
Morning, everyone. I know it's not the morning. I'm just.
Now it's most likely something like 11 a.m.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Still
So
morning.
technically morning.
Technically. Well, everybody ready to go then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rainbow.
All right.
As we walk out the inn, I assume we're all walking out the inn.
Yep. I haven't.
As we walk out the inn, I will toss Anvara the orb and be like, "You see any gnomes chuckling while they look at you? That's why." And give her no other context.
Nice.
Oh no!
You.
For the sake of having something in my hand, I'll just have like these salted nuts in my hand. Like, what?
Okay. Ooh. You know, and you say that, you look at the orb, you look at the room around you, and you actually do see 2 gnomes looking at you, and and they start talking to one another in Gnomish. Audience, you do hear it, and I think it's her. She's the one on the video. Yeah. You think we should talk to her?
Good call. I'm
And
about to get tavern brawler if
audience?
they come up. And...
Audience, you hear something that's not supposed to be in this phrase? Do you think we should tell her about the marble? No.
Okay. Oh, she has it now, so it's ahead of.
Anvara, they're talking Gnomish, so you hear this conversation, you see them both looking at you with this stupid grin and sometimes shaking their head and nodding and shaking again. And you have this orb in your hand. It looks like an orb very similar to the communication device. You feel that it might work probably the same way.
I mean, maybe I could like wrap it up in a blanket and just swing it around like a weapon later on. I'm tired of people.
Alright.
You don't even know
Just
what
in a
it is
sock.
yet.
I know. Just put it in a sock and wing it around.
Alright. So you take the orb and you pocket it and you leave the inn. Is that it?
Yeah.
All right.
And yeah. Thanks. Thought we were cool.
You're cool. That's why I gave it to you.
What I didn't know couldn't hurt me.
I think it could hurt you.
If you want it to.
I feel like that's a very false statement. I mean, like, there's a lot of things you don't know that can hurt you. Like, we didn't know what the number Hulk was, and it hurt a lot.
I don't recall.
That's right.
Facts.
I mean, most of us did.
I mean, I don't either. I just assumed from the fact that there was blood fucking everywhere.
There was blood everywhere. Audience needed to be put back on his feet, and you remember not a thing of it. Something went wrong. You're just not sure what. All right, so you all make your way to the cart, and you don't meet a lot of people. Few wardens, few dwarves, a half elf apparently, but no gnome on the way. Get to the cart, and everything's still there. There is all of the tent, which seem to have been modified by gnomes because the main mask is retractable, so now it fits inside the cart. It doesn't stick out the end. You see the large box, you see the small box, you see the barrel full of liquid. Most likely it's closed right now. And most likely the rations have been put inside the small chest near the seat of the cart.
Well, I made sure they got everything together, so we should be ready to go. And there's a note in the small box for somebody. I don't know, I can read it.
I'll go look at it.
It's written in Gnomish.
Oh, I can read it.
Yeah. And the note says, because we had to make a test first, tell your friend that when she goes to the ladies' room, if there is a marble, a brass-colored marble in what comes out, it's normal. We had to test it first.
Oh,
Hold
no.
up. What?
I'm just
Am
not.
I
I
gonna
don't know.
Am I gonna shit marbles? Excuse me.
They're gnomes.
Uh,
They use the
fucking-
device which allows them to see through solid walls. Inside a room,
They tagged you with radioactive material for the
they had to
X-ray.
test
Yeah,
it.
did they just fucking feed me depleted uranium or some shit?
You don't know, but it's apparently a brass-colored marble that might be in your digestive tract. Audience, do you give that information to Anvara?
You might as well fucking not at this point, you dick.
I'm going to. I'm going to be like, Anvara, along with that orb, which, if you once you look at it, this will be explained. Apparently, the gnomes fed you an orb as part of the test, and yeah. So if you go to the bathroom and an orb comes out, don't worry about it. It was a test from the gnomes.
Which side is it going to come out of?
I mean, I think I know enough about anatomy that I'd assume the lower side.
I hope so, because the other side's gonna hurt real fucking bad.
Raimi is just
biggest
blinking
kidney
at this
stone
conversation.
he's ever seen.
Yeah. I'll be like, yeah, so when you look at the orb, you'll understand, but please don't go and kill the gnomes. I get...
Remy,
Trust you.
with everything you've heard about the gnomes 30 minutes ago, when audience says that, you can't help in your mind but think, did they make her eat that, or was it materialized there during the test? They did talk about a lot of weird stuff earlier.
Why did Advar become a test subject for the gnomes?
These gnomes are fucking weird, man.
I know, I fucking hate him, man. Holy shit.
Raimi will just have this very contemplative look on his face as he's trying to puzzle this together.
Yo, fuck these gnomes for real.
Hey, in 5th edition, they gave access to magic for the gnomes. In prior edition, it wasn't necessarily an option for them, but now it is. Guess what they're gonna do with it? It's not gonna help them.
Glad to know gnomes are fucking gross by nature. Alright.
Oh no, they're not gross. They're just gonna try anything. You know that it is...
They just have no moral compass when it comes to scientific experimentation.
Yeah, they have
Which
no
means
regards for...
they're gross.
Do you remember the... or at least somewhere in your mind, the music for the ending of Portal 1, Still Alive?
Yes.
That could really, really fit with gnomes.
I don't want to think about that's
Let's get going. How's that?
that's not good.
You just made a future decision much easier.
I don't want an entire race of GLaDOSes.
Oh no, they want you to survive. But you know, just like the music says, you just keep going until you run out of cake. You get the science done, and this could be good for those still alive.
Yeah, that's the part
Fucking
that
dark
worries.
take on gnomes, man.
Gnomes are
Cake
gnomes are still good in nature. They're just extremely curious. They'll try anything. They'll experiment on anything. It is a known fact that if you give an artifact to a gnome community for 1,000 years, no matter how hard it is to destroy it, they're gonna find a way to destroy it.
Hey,
I have something to do for my cart ride. Just fucking
Get going.
look at me smush into a wall. Yep, let's go.
Oh no, they just altered the tent so that it could retract, so that the main mask doesn't stick out of the end of the cart.
Alright. Cool.
it's an extendo tent.
Alright, so you all gather around, you have this orb in one of your hand, this message from audience floating in your head. You all get in the cart, and you take it to the place where it entered, and as magically as it did, you reach the end of this very short corridor, you see the flash of light, and you find yourself in the just a bit before noon outside. It is nice day, you know, a few clouds in the skies, but rather windy. A bit colder than... It's unseasonably cold, but since you're in the middle of summer, it's sort of just a little bit fresh. It's... But it's a bit windy. But that's the worst you can say about the day. The temperature, not the day.
So which route are we taking?
I mean, we're going up towards Othenau, and isn't there a quest along the way? So probably towards that quest that's 2 hours or so away.
Thing at the Twin Lakes?
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
probably just heading over towards the Twin Lakes. I mean, we can get there by 2.
The Twin Lakes, it's actually
No.
1-2 days and a half.
Oh,
Yeah.
never mind. Right, it's close. Right.
Not 2 hours,
Okay.
2 days.
You had the 2 right. It just wasn't the right measure.
Oh. I guess we'd be heading towards the Twin Lakes anyway, because that's
Yeah.
our nearest quest.
So the quest says that the sightings have been on the bridge linking the northern and southern side of the lake. But the first time the adventurer who reported this heard the rumor, he was in a small village which is to the west of the Twin Lake, which is called... I've just started to put the names on village, and I have to increase the size of the map because I can't read it. Westwin.
Alright.
To the bridge, it's 2 days and a half. You'd have to go to the town of Dimar, and then take the merchant route all the way to the bridge. From the bridge, you can try, if you want to go to Westwind, you can take the long way, which would add another 2 days to your travel. Or you can try to cut across the plains and hills, which would allow you to reach it by the end of that day. If you want to go where the rumor was heard. If you just want to go to the bridge and start your investigation there, 2 days and a half.
That'd be a good thing to ask the party. Do you want to go to where the rumor was heard, or do you want to just head out over to the bridge and kind of camp there and wait till we see something?
I think a little bit of intelligence gathering might be a good idea instead of just walking in blind,
All right, we will.
especially to something that possibly lives in the water, seeing as the rest of you have to breathe.
Very well. We will head on over to the village first, then.
All right.
Speaking of
Yes.
dangerous creatures, I bought something for you. And I'll hand everyone a healing potion.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, shit.
You guys all get 1 normal healing pot.
1 more.
You could add that to my potion of necrotic resistance.
Which you got at a moment where it was very useful, but you never used it.
Consumables aren't for using, they're for saving.
Exactly. Until the final boss fight, when you pop all of them.
No,
The
actually,
entire game.
I did say that you had shelves in your room. You're just gonna put them there as trophies. That's what you
Like
do
use
with
them
those
like-
things. At least this is what people would think you do when they look at what my inventory looks like when I play games.
Yeah, this is Skyrim, right? You can just hit quick menu and just drink like 20 potions in half a second.
The thing is that I always try to keep everything in case I need them later, but I never actually need them. So when you reach the end of the game, I sort of realize, hey, that potion, I got it from the very first quest, which gave me a potion. And it's a quest-related potion. Alright, well, I guess I have
Okay, well-
souvenirs. Alright.
Why did they only have potion of healing greater in the equipment?
Alright, so you start.
Potion of healing isn't a magic item or a potion. I think it's in gear.
Yeah, just write potion
Potion
filter on.
Yeah. It's the only one that isn't in magical object because most likely it's easy to do by gathering normal things. Small things everywhere. Alright. So you start your adventure toward Hey, I don't need that sheet anymore. Cool. One less sheet for note.
Yeah.
That's good. That is passed and done. All right. Oh, cool. I actually have in my notes all of the potions. So a common potion is 2d4 plus 2.
Yep. It's like the first thing they ask in the apprentice, like alchemists, to make sure like they're not completely brain dead.
All right. So, percentage. You all.
First test.
All right. All right. Well, you get out of the portal. It is the plane where you exit, which is just a few hours up from Graz Hill. As always, you can just go down to Graz Hill and take the road, or just go straight and rejoin with the road. Maybe 5 or 10 minutes later than you would if you would have went directly for the road. But which one would you like to do?
Well, if the difference is 5 or 10 minutes.
It's really not long. It's the difference is if you go straight, because you're not on the road and you're using a cart, it's a bit wobbly and not very fun to be with. Not comfortable. If you go down to Graz Hill, it's a few hours more, but you get to be on the road immediately, which shortens the trip a bit. So probably more realistically, it's maybe a difference of half an hour.
Okay, well, clearly the road to Grosville seems way more pleasant than bumpy ass road. So
Just take the road.
All right, so
you right? Sure. If we lose a wheel, though, it'll be real funny.
Am I driving again? Because I've been driving.
yeah, I think you actually it's animal handling for this. So who has the best animal handling would be the better question.
I mean, it's a whiz skill, so
Raimi has a 3.
4.
Definitely not me. 5+0.
All right, so it all depends on what you want to do. Anvara and Raimi would be the obvious choice, as they are the one with the highest animal handling. However, if you have proficiency with a land vehicle, that would give you advantage on all roll. And Fisher can also be an obvious choice, as he can just keep on riding and doesn't actually need to take a rest.
So I'm the
Oh.
least obvious choice, and yet I'm the one who
Well,
keeps
like I said, it always depends on what you want to do. Audience, you have the best face for first contact. So putting you in front actually has a better chance of getting nicer encounters. There's a good point for everyone. Anvara and Raimi, the obvious choice for animal handling. Fisher, to be able to travel all day long without any problem. Audience, to get the best reaction out of whomever you may encounter. Everyone has something to give. So it depends on what you want to give.
I mean, to be fair, he's been doing it like since the beginning. No point in telling him like, hey, you know what? I think I know how to handle animals better than you. Like, let's just let him do what he's been doing pretty good this whole time.
I mean, if audience is in the writer's seat, we already know where Raimi is.
Exactly.
Right beside him.
Oh well, Strang is the best perception.
I can barely hear you right now.
I said, which works out well because Remy has the best perception.
Yeah.
All right. So in that case, Remy literally is traveling shotgun. He is the one paying attention to everything while audience is focusing on the horse. So audience, make an animal handling check for me, and Remy a perception check.
Oh, wish that would have been one roll earlier. I got a 19.
You know, a horse isn't making you nervous.
Nope.
16 on the perception.
16, alright. So, audience, now that you have calmed down, that you are not trying to handle a woman who has a charisma that is much higher than you, and you're not actually trying to get her to follow you, you're just trying to get a horse to go in straight line as fast as he can for extended period of time, you're very relaxed and goes really well. Remy, you are focused on what is happening around you and what can go wrong. You have a rather uneventful ride. You cross paths with another merchant caravan as you are on your way to a town. But they're just slightly cautious. They see you arriving. You do strike an idea of an adventuring party when you arrive. A dragonborn, a kenku, an elf, and a bodyguard machine. That's how people see this. So, yeah, you don't look like the peasant group. So, they're a bit cautious. You see them slow down a little bit, then give you all the space that they can, just veering just enough, running along the edge of the road, not enough to topple or whatever, but or anything like that, but they just are giving you space. They're not a big caravan, so just two carts, one after the other, and looking at you. You don't see any symbols or anything. It doesn't look fancy, so it could be a merchant getting his ware to the town, but with something that has this little finesse in everything that it has that is so bland. It could also be a bunch of peasants trying to see if they can get better price in a town to sell their whatever they just have. So that's the only other thing that you cross during the day. Do you react to them? Do you?
I wouldn't.
All right. All right. So you just see them. They just look at you. You see one nod slightly as you cross them. You just keep on going. As they are right beside you, you do notice smells of vegetables and fruit. So most likely going to the market. You get to the village, the town, sorry. As I said, village, I'm going to be very brief. Towns, however, if there's anything you'd like to do, it is a town, meaning there are shops, you can buy other things. There are people going by town, so you could ask questions around. If not, pay the toll for the night, and we can find ourselves in the morning if you have nothing else to do.
How big is the cart that we're in? Would it fit all of us?
It would be a little bit tight, but yes, you could all be in there. It's a two-wheel cart. meant to store different things. So if you unhook it from the horse, it's gonna tilt to one side, most likely the front, because that's where the bench is, so it's the heaviest. But it's large enough to fit a Umber Hulk carcass, so it's large.
I was thinking if we ever want to, we could. I don't know if we want to do this tonight, but we could potentially save time by just switching Fisher into like driving the horse while we all slept at night because he doesn't need to sleep.
Absolutely.
technically don't have to stop. We want to be more efficient.
No, you mean Fisher. Well, technically, Dungeons and Dragons calculates the traveling distance with 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of travel, and another 8 hours for breaks and eating and preparing to go to bed. So you'd basically be able to skip the 8 hours of sleep and just keep on going if Fisher drives. Meaning you would get faster to the bridge.
All right.
Or to village, yeah.
Nothing
I'll turn to the others. I'll say, I just had an idea, and I'll explain what I just said. I'll be like, what do you want to do? Do you want to stop?
I mean, I'm not gonna pull the cart. And if my knowledge of, animals is correct, I believe the horse will need to sleep.
We need to buy a robotic horse.
Well, a horse doesn't, if I'm not mistaken, a horse doesn't sleep 8 hours straight. He sleeps, he can sleep in increment, meaning he could sleep 4 hours and 4 hours. Mm-hmm. So in a day of travel, whenever you take a break, you just stretch your leg, or during the day, if you stop eating, you can just give that break to the horse. There's still an 8-hour break mixed in throughout the day that you can use. Eventually, you're going to wear out the horse if all he has for break is the 2 hours of lunch you have for each break that you take. If you take 2 hours for evening, 2 hours for morning, and 2 hours for the end of the day, you're going to wear him out after a few days.
Okay. They say that average domesticated horse sleeping is 2.9 hours. So
eventually you're going to wear him out, but it's going to take a while. You could keep that paced for maybe a week.
I say we take a break here, and then we can do that on the road when we aren't hitting
towns.
Yeah.
That's fair. All right. Well, guess we can stop here then.
You stop here for the night, or just for a short break to eat?
Is it nighttime or not nighttime?
It's like 2.
Dimar is roughly half a day away. So basically, night would be getting in because you got out of the garden almost at noon. So it's maybe 6 or 7 p.m. right now.
Alright.
It's the middle of summer, so it's still bright outside, but most people are preparing to go back home.
With dinner and sleep, that works out pretty fine. Yeah, we can just stop here. I will pay whatever I need to pay for the night. I'm not going to be doing anything.
Okay.
It's town. So what's that? 1 silver?
1 silver is... 1 silver is a poor room, but yeah, they have some.
Alright. I'll throw in 3 silver, including just dinner and stuff and all that. All right, I'll just do 3 silver.
Silver. You have enough rations in your cart to last 20 days. Well,
Yeah.
you asked 20 days of ration, but you didn't say for how many people, so they gave you 20 days of rations.
I mean, I also have 26 of my own rations. So, again, I have 13 pounds of rations, so I got my own rations.
Cool. Because I only paid for 20 rations, so we got bonus. That's okay with me.
Well, separated
I
in
got-
3, it means you bought for a week worth of rations.
Yeah, that's what I was going
Okay.
for.
Well, a week minus 1 ration. Someone would have to starve for 1 day. Oh, it's been 7
Actually-
days. You starved today.
Removed a ration for lunch. Okay.
Like, although the bird, he doesn't eat much anyway.
It's bird's stomach. All right, so you can use your ration, which would mean it doesn't cost you anything more, or you can keep them and pay a poor meal or something modest
Yep, that's what I did.
for the meal also.
I paid for the meal. That's why I gave 3 silver.
Okay,
For the
well,
whole
3
night.
silver is for the modest meal.
Poor room, modest meal.
Okay, so that's that's for you. So meaning 1 silver for the poor room and 3 silver for the meal, meaning it's 4 silver.
Oh, okay. I'll take away 1 more silver.
Okay. Anvara, you go at the shrine, and you will have your oatmeal,
Perfect, as life should be.
as it should be. And Remy,
Raimi will get a room plus food.
all right. What sort of room do you want? The cheapest of all room, which is basically better than what you had for most of your life, but still a very basic room. A bed, maybe a chest to put anything that you have at the end of it. Or you could go for a poor room, which would most likely have a desk and maybe a chair in one corner. What it is?
So he will
it
he will
is-
take the one that's like one above the lowest.
one
He
above the
has
lowest.
standards now.
All right, so it's 1 silver. And the meal, do you want a modest meal, or do you want just enough food to keep you alive? Or do you want
He
to
has
use the rest?
standards now.
Standards. So, a poor meal, something that has mostly vegetable with a bit of meat or cheese or something like that. That would be 6 copper. And Fisher, well, you guard the horse.
I would like to see if I can find a blacksmith
Okay.
before they go home
Yeah, sure.
And see if I could, I don't know, rent out an anvil or something. And if I have access to the good enough equipment, see if I can finish the flail tonight.
Well,
Seeing as really I just need to attach chain to stick
yeah.
and reinforce said stick.
Well, because of how late it is, you do manage to find a blacksmith because he lives right next to the smithy. But you catch him as he is walking to his home.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, when he looks at you, he's a bit surprised and, can I help you with something? Were you sent for a reason?
I was wondering if I could trying to finish up a project. I was wondering if I could use your smith or use your anvil.
Make a make a persuasion roll. Sorry.
Let's go. Hey! -1, 15.
15. That's not bad.
There you go.
He looks at you and, well, I guess, I imagine your owner gave you some money for this? Or,
If you want some money, I can give you some money.
alright. Do you have everything you need?
Yeah, I just need an anvil, really. Maybe a fire.
And,
Let's see. I've got all the tools.
look, he looks at his shop and looks at you and, well, it's usually those like you aren't designed to lie, so all right, just make sure that you don't make a mess, and if something escapes you, just come back and ask me. Don't make a mess, don't break anything. I will charge your master if you break something.
I will be sure to. Yeah. No, don't worry. I got it. I know what I'm doing. And just in case, yeah, I'll totally forward whatever damages to my master.
From inside of you, Fisher, you hear a slight chuckle when you say this. All right, go ahead. I believe it's still a bit warm. You won't need a lot of effort to get the smithy working again. So just be careful and please don't burn down. Be careful. You just leaves and lets you go.
Man, dealing with people is a lot easier when you don't let them know that you can do things of your own accord. I will say in my head, not out loud. And then I'll get to work.
So
Just bill all your mistakes to audience.
so you go in there and you. What skill do you have which could help this?
Yeah, I don't know. What do you add to Smith's tools?
Well, there is smithing tool. So all right. You'd have.
I have the
advantage.
tools and I have the proficiency.
All right. Well then.
Plus, I got the ability score. You assign it.
I'd say to make something like this. Well, there's something very academic to this, so I'd make it an intelligence roll with advantage. No, with proficiency. You have proficiency with it.
So int plus proficiency.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I'd give you advantage also because the thing is that when you have proficiency, you're supposed to use it. But blacksmithing, it's not athletic. But then again, it's not anything else either. So I'd say proficiency and advantage because you have the tools and the knowledge.
Okay. So that's just with the +2 then, right? So that's 16.
16, alright. Well, you start hammering, and of course, you're slightly distracted by Taranad, who just periodically say, and I wonder who you would say is your master in the group. Oh, be careful, don't break anything. You'd have to say who's your master.
I'd probably just get an invoice and then say I'd go deliver it. And then, he didn't think I could lie, so, and then I'd just leave.
Yeah, but still, you wouldn't want to disappoint your master.
I think you're missing the point.
Oh no, the DM is very much not missing the point. He is making the point.
All right.
I'll say that your options are limited.
If I don't want to deal with something, I can just blame it on somebody that doesn't exist.
Yes, on your master in the group, because it's easier to believe that you belong to them.
I'll figure it out if it becomes a problem.
Yes, it is always
Most
good
likely
to know.
I'll just scare the shit out of somebody on accident and then they'll run away. That's what happened last time.
You could make some deal with audience.
All of Max.
Nope.
Every time you address him.
It's always good to know
not
who your
happening.
master is. Keep working. Keep working. And the result is good. It's 16. It's... You can make something that is functional. It's probably not fashionable, but it's functional.
Mm-hmm. I don't care if it looks good as long as it hits things.
It's okay if it doesn't look good as long as it hits good and that it looks bad on the other guy.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, with 16, like I said, it's not something that you would manage to get a higher price than the stated price, but it works. It's fine. It's solid. It's good.
Ain't selling this thing.
And you didn't break
You know
anything.
what this is for. I'm not selling it.
And even better, you didn't break anything.
Oh, yeah, no, that would have been shitty.
Well, you could have rolled really low. That you would have. I would have loved.
I did. The first roll was a 2, so, that would have been
So
not so great.
So basically, Terranad's banter about your master. You started out not too good, but him hearing insist on who's your master sort of gave you the necessary will or pride to avoid failing this miserably, and I'm gonna show him. Here it's good. It's finished. Oh, I guess this time you won't have to say who's your master. That's good work.
Why, thank you.
You're welcome, worker.
What did you say?
And I'm not going to say anything else. Starting to get the hang of this.
Alright, so you go back after a few hours of work. Everyone is asleep. Well, you'd imagine Anvara's doing her thing because she's not in the inn, but Everyone else seems to be asleep. You can enter the inn. You notice that there's just someone there who is acting as a presence in the inn in case someone arrives very late, and most likely either the owner or maybe one of his children. But
I'd be just chilling with the cart.
all right, so you just go back out, go to the cart, and wait at the cart. And
Well, Remy does do one thing before he goes to sleep that night.
all right,
He pulls out his brass brazier and fills it with herbs, incense, and charcoal.
all right. So
Pulls out his little book and lights it, and he spends the next hour and 10 minutes beseeching a familiar.
all right. Well, it's probably easier to go down at the first floor and take a few pieces of ember from the dying fire to use rather than use cold charcoal to start everything. But yeah, everything else can work exactly as you say. So, what are you hoping to get as a familiar?
Now, because he sees this spell as sort of like summoning a friend, so he thinks of like the closest friend that he has ever had as he is doing so, and is sort of like reaching out to a fey spirit.
All right. So I know what it should be like when it comes out. However, you never told me what color it was.
So, you know what, we'll make this one, because like I have an idea for the friend itself. So they will be, it'll be white with stripes. There's actually a species that sort of mimics.
Okay. So, unless I'm mistaken, you make your ritual, and at the end of the ritual, you do feel like there is a presence entering the room, moving about, and then stopping in front of you. You see the smoke from all of the brazier in front of you gather and slowly take shape, and it is a white with black stripe.
You can refer to it as a snow Bengal.
A snow Bengal cat. You
He
see
just
it.
kind of like gets down on his like little knees ? And
Does it bend?
that's an excellent question for a later time.
Yeah.
But just like it starts like scritching the spot between its ears.
It purrs a little since you besieged it and you thought about a form. It is very friendly. It doesn't mind any of this and purrs a bit and walks a little in the room, rubs his head on you, and you... Would Remy know why cats do this?
I mean, with his intelligence, he probably looked it up at some point.
All right. So because it's a fey spirit, you'd get that it's most likely a result of copying a life form, because he knows who owns who, and it's a fey behind it. So he doesn't do this because he feels it's necessary to. But he rubs his head a bit on you and comes back in front of you and sits down and just stares at you and cock his head a little. Seems to be waiting now for now if you have anything to ask him, order him. It's the first time you summon him. So
Like it just sort of like comes out in a woman's voice. What's your name, little one?
Did I finish this? Hold on. Can't find your. Well, apparently this is where the stream's going to end because I can't find my notes on this. I don't know if I finished the name of the cat.
But because like we discussed it last week, I'll just I'll type it in your Discord
Okay.
if you'll recall that conversation.
Yes. Now I remember it entirely. All right. So okay. Well. In that case, it has to come also with it. So, meaning that when it sits down in front of you, you do notice that he has a small collar on him, and he has a very, very small bell. And when you ask for his name, you just hear him shake his head, and you hear like, "Gling, gling, gling."
Maybe he repeats it. Ding-ding-ding-ding-ding.
And he looks at you attentively, much in the same way that you would expect a dog to look at you when you call his name.
Yeah, at that point, like he does sort of like, clean out the brazier and all that, and then like as he makes up the bed, he sort of like pats apart where where there's easy enough space for it.
All right, well, he joins you on the bed, and it's the oddest thing. It feels like the bell is probably made out of the same fey material that he is, because unless he wishes it, it doesn't make a sound. He jumps on the bed, and you don't hear the gling gling.
And before he goes to bed for the evening, like just because he likes it so much, he's going to take out the lantern, set it on the bedside table, and he's going to put 2 spell slots in it so that it'll stay lit for the entire night.
All right. Oh,
it just sleeps peacefully with with this light, just like by his bedside.
All right. The version of a Kenku nightlight. So maybe you just half close the shutter so it's a little bit dimmer. But there's light. You have a nightlight, you have a cat with a bell that only rings when it wants it to ring. And you are content. Anything else anyone would like to do before we end this stream? Manva? In your mediocre room? In your bed, mostly made out of wood with a little bit of straw?
But did I pay though?
No, you didn't pay. You wanted to have a free room inside the shrine, so they gave you what was available.
The shit out of this, my guy. I'm enjoying this. Just keep saving up my pennies since I started.
I just like how we have this very, very homely, very picturesque snapshot of Kenku, like literally like sleeping in a comfortable bed with a nice pet and a nightlight, and then we cut to Anvara,
who's sleeping in the dark in a bed that is basically a raised wooden platform with maybe an eighth of an inch of straw at the bottom to act as a bit of comfort.
It's fantastic and it's free, and I don't want to hear shit about it.
And that's what she keeps repeating to herself as she goes into a trance, feeling the straw prickling her behind. And did she at any point look at what the orb had inside?
I guess that'll be the last thing she does before bed is look at what the orb at the store.
So you can't help but to wonder, how did they manage to have this footage? But you also remember seeing a gnome outside the door when you left in the morning. And you see the entire event. You being dragged inside the room, strapped to the back of Valtteri, her trying to gently roll on the bed, and now you understand why you woke up with such a bad ache in your neck. You see her go back into her form, struggling to try and get out of these rope who had been so well made by audience. Then you sort of realize why you have a rope burn just above your hip. Oh. And then her managing to cut the rope and then doing her best to take all the rope back inside her backpack, preparing herself, sitting next to the bed, and you starting to talk to her about whatever. You're not sure what this is, but you're talking and it's your voice. And now you understand why you woke up with drool, uncomfortable, and a piece of rope still in the bed with you. And you remember audience saying, when a gnome in the garden looks at you funny, it might be because he saw this. And then there's the story about the marble.
Next session, I might go all Karen and just like go complain to Sierra, like, this is unacceptable behavior.
Audience didn't do a thing of this. He just got the video of it.
I didn't even show the other party members.
Oh man, I'm sure glad that 2 other people don't know, but like 2,800 fucking gnomes have all seen it.
Well, it's just 24, you know. It's 24. It's not that much.
But it has
with the
gotten
rate
1,000
of-
hits on GNOME2.
With the amount of accidents they're having, they'll probably all be dead pretty soon anyway.
Well, there hasn't been any fatalities yet. You've only heard 2 dings. 1 or 2 dings, meaning that there's been damage to a laboratory or there's been a mild injury in a laboratory. There's no death yet.
I'll stick the orb back in its bag and go back in my trance, slightly more irate than I was before.
But happy that you're sleeping on a plank of wood with straw on it. Because it's free.
Because it's free.
And this is the thought that you keep repeating to yourself as you enter inside your trance. It's free.
It'll help
It's
the
free.
little brass orb pass real quick too, since I'm only eating oatmeal. So let's go for 200% fibrous intake by 6 a.m.
You actually want to roll to see if you're gonna find the marble?
Christ. I don't think Advara's the type to go. I don't think Advara's the type to go rooting around her own shit to find like treasure.
Well, the question is, does she want to know if the marble is there or not?
I assume I'd feel it.
You don't know.
DM, I
It's-
DM, I demand a coin flip. There are 2 places it could come out.
All right. Fuck. Oh my god.
Why are we doing this?
No, it's a gnome. Gnomes know what they're talking about. They just don't know what they're doing.
Okay, it'll happen when it happens, but she did not.
I just wanted to know if she would actually care to look at what comes out to see if it comes out or not. If you say
No.
that she doesn't, then it's fine.
She might not be very bright, but she's an elf and has some degree of self-respect.
So she will not.
What? Fuck. Okay.
Just wanted to know, you don't need to
That's
roll
fine.
this while we're on stream. It could be rolled outside, and you just inform everyone of what you found in the morning. But if
Yes, that's what they want to know. But okay.
yes, it's what they want to know. I'm sure of it. But the only question you should care about is, does Anvara want to know?
She does not. She does not. Shit to interest her.
Then it
In which-
settles.
I wanna
Then
know.
it settles the
Can
question.
you show me? I want to know about the strangers like me.
She goes to bed thinking no one will ever know. Even if they look into my memories, no one will ever know. She enters a trance. And this is
Yeah.
where we end for tonight.
Fuck.
I always had fun with gnomes. They make stupid inventions left and right.
You're having too much fun with those ones. God damn.
I'm not even getting started with them.
Christ.
It's okay. I'm already on the good side of them. You guys are all subject.
Can you tell to not put orbs of brass inside me, please?
They said a marble. It doesn't mean that it's a baseball size orb. It could really be just the size of a marble.
All right, we'll settle this next time.
Although, Lord help you if it's bigger.
Will we? Do we really have to? I
That's
think it
what
needs to be settled.
That's what I keep saying.
I think
we
it
don't
can be forgotten
have to.
about.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I implied. Let's just leave it the next time and then not talk about it next time.
Very well. Anvara has decided that no one will ever know, even if someone tries to extract the information directly from her memories. No one will ever know.
Excellent.
But a gnome
And then,
might ask her one day.
Well, incidentally, there may or may not be a new quest for Anvara to learn the modify memory spell.
All right. Well, this ends this stream in a very peculiar way. So, everyone is back on the road, and the quests are once again starting. First quest on the calendar is the quest of the Twin Lake, where you are headed right now, to find a creature which has been sighted and scaring off travelers and most likely fishers with an S, not Fisher the character.
Depending on what the creature is, we'll see whether it scares
Nah, dude. Ain't scared of no water thing.
He is a stone-faced hero, literally. All right, well, thank you very much for sharing this interesting episode with us. When we come back next week, we will be knees deep into adventure. So, until then, as always, if you enjoyed the show, you can support the stream by following us on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. And as always, remember, if we reach 50 followers on Twitch, we can actually activate subscriptions. And there will most likely be a few things that goes with subscription, although I'm still waiting for an artist to make itself known, saying, oh, I want to draw things for you. So if you know one, if you are one, use the email under. I will gladly talk to you and see what you can do to help us with that. You can also support us by making a donation or becoming a Patreon. And as always, you can also help us simply by spreading the word of this channel, because the more of you there are, the more fun it is to share this in the chat. And who knows, could be fun receiving fan art at one point, so don't be afraid. We'll laugh about it, no matter what it is, even if it is, well, the ending of this stream. We'll laugh about it, don't worry.
Schrodinger's marble. Did it come out? Did it not? We won't know.
Alright, well, see you all next Wednesday. Till then, stay safe and, most importantly, right now, stay healthy. Bye.
Bye.
Jenny!